Murder him. I think probably maybe. Huh. Okay, this is not cool. It's not happening. What you doing? Stay out of his room. He's wide. They're regular. No, these aren't wide. Gotta be more wide. Here we go. There. Other sugar. Great. Flour, which is fucking open. All right. Scissors. Mushrooms. I think I have everything I need. Except, I'm gonna throw peas in later. I can just grab them. Phone so I can look at chat. I hope you're here. You stay out of his room. He doesn't want you in there. That's why it's freaking shut. Or my cat wants to be in my son's room. I am gonna sit on the butt because my hip is killing me today, unfortunately. Okay, I see chat room. Move things around. Nope, here. Hi. Hi. Good to see you. I gotta use up this stew meat. It's bison. It's from my friend Erin and her husband's bison farm here in Statesville. Take my rings off. I have to look at this. Lav Mike again, by the way. Hollyland, dude. I ought to nickname it Nokia because it went through the washer and the dryer. And I don't know how many times it went through the dryer before I actually found it because it was stuck up to the side of the dryer, being magnetic. Yeah. I'm going to put a bandana on. The wintry weather has me staticky, and my hair is like making me kind of nuts. And I don't want to be like touching it while I'm trying to cook. So I'm going to make like a stew. But I'm putting wine and mushrooms in it, so it's going to be kind of like if you've ever had beef bourguignon, beef burgundy, or I like to make that with venison. I've never made it with bison, but it's going to have kind of a similar profile to that going on. But I'm going to put potatoes in it, so it's just going to be a stew. Where if you make a bourguignon, you kind of, oh, I forgot carrots. And carrots, shoot. You tend to serve it over rice, so you don't put potatoes in it. I'm using bison to make like a stew with wine and mushrooms in it. Huh? Yeah. I believe those are free for all now. I also opened these buffalo blue cheese sausages. It's pretty good. Pardon me, everybody, I had to wash these carrots. And they're a little hairy. And I am going to leave them in on like a stalk, so I'm going to want to kill them. Yeah. Yeah, I'm going to render bacon. This is not my homemade bacon, to get the flavor going and get things sauteing. I'm trying to remember. Hopefully I don't screw this up too badly. I haven't looked at a recipe for this in years. I'm trying to. I know I put the flour on and cook it like with the meat. I guess I'll do it with the meat and vegetables and then count on it stewing after. I know sometimes people take the meat out and then do their veg and then put stuff back in later, but I don't. Well, maybe I should do that because I do want a nice brown. I want a good sear on this meat. And if I put the vegetables in at the same time, they're going to give off water and prevent that. So I am actually going to do that. I'm going to brown the meat, pull it out. Then I'll do our veg. Celery, garlic, onion, carrots, garlic. I already said garlic. Mushrooms, because I do want those to brown a little bit if I can and get their flavor down in there. And then I'll put in our flour, cook that up a little bit, deglaze with some wine. I do have some beef bouillon here to add with the water. If I feel like I need more fat when I'm browning stuff up, I will add some ghee just because it's what's here on the table. Hey, Vic, can you grab me some celery? I want to say like 4. It's already in little sticks. Okay, turn this up. It's down way too low to even start to brown this stuff. I could probably stand to put more onion in this for flavor's sake. Also, bring me the container that has a partial onion in the fridge. I got a sous chef today. Yeah, because I like way more onion than that in a lovely savory dish like this. Thank you. So, I'm going to put, yeah, like I said, after I get a good, yummy, brothy, thick stew all cooked, at the end, I'm going to add, well, not at the end, I'm going to put potatoes in that as well. But I'm going to add some peas, the leftover peas from when I did the curry on the Factual Foodie, actually. I am going to do these in full rounds just for pretty. Is this going to finish on stream? Maybe not. You might have to come back and look for the picture later. Man, this knife needs sharpening. Sorry about the loudness. Because to get all the veg cooked through and everything. I mean, we did get those carrots to cook through the other day in like 40 minutes, right? You could also do this in the Instapot. I would brown up everything you want brown, and then probably, I'm not an Instapot expert. I have to look at a recipe. But my instinct would be to brown stuff up on the saute function, and then throw your liquid in and potatoes, and probably cook it for 40 minutes on high pressure, and then pull it out and thicken it after with a slurry or with whatever you like to thicken with. You could use cornstarch. I actually bought some arrowroot to. I haven't used it in years and years. I used to use it when I was low carbing, and they had it in the Bhaja spice section, so it was affordable to grab and play around. And that's a nice way to thicken things that doesn't add carbs. You don't have to worry about cooking it like you do flour. I'm not going to put all of this in, just some of this. Well, hello, Lord Velos. Hey, I saw you went to my Discord. There should be still part of a day if you didn't enter the contest. The giveaway, I should bring that up to everybody who shows up. Giving away another cookbook because we reached 200 followers during Factual Foodie Sunday last, not yesterday. And you just click the little party popper button in the giveaway channel, and I will be, whoever wins can look at, I'm going to put more garlic than probably anyone else would in this. The spreadsheet I have with a whole lot of cookbooks, and pick one out and I'll mail it to you. I ask US only, please. I forgot to mention that up front, but so I guess I'll just have to suffer and pony up the shipping if somebody overseas enters this one, right? Because I didn't specify. I'm not too worried about getting this small because it's a little bit of a long cook. And if I cut it too much, it'll give it heat, which I don't want for my garlic. But if I leave it in bigger pieces, it'll cook up and bring the sweetness out of that This is not anywhere near, this bacon is not fatty enough to be doing what I want, because I really want this to brown all the sides of this meat. So I'm going to add a nice, like about a tablespoon of ghee, which is just clarified butter, for folks that don't know. But I really love it. Oh, it's making my bacon go pop. They're having a fight. The bacon is jealous. This is beautifully packaged. I don't remember exactly. Tend to cook for your, oh, for diabetes. You know what? Did I give them all away? You know, I could get one back. I'm going to take somebody to the doctor next week who I let borrow one of the cookbooks that I was given to do giveaways. But I have a couple in this collection that are specifically like no sugar and diabetic focused. So that might be a good way you could get if you win. I'm washing my hands. I was touching the meat. Um, you could get a new cookbook that you can try friendly recipes. Yeah, my friend Daniel is diabetic. He was actually trying to, he asked me over the holidays if I could find a way to make my chocolate pecan pie sugar free. And I've not succeeded in that. Okay. Um, this is super, super, super lean, being bison. So I'm gonna salt this, and I feel like it's gonna help me get the brown on it that I'm looking for. By pulling the moisture to the surface. Um, I'm not worried about cooking it through. I want to give it a lot of room because that'll happen when I stew it later and it'll get really tender from a longer cook. I'm excited about. Oh, also, you know what? One of the best cookbooks, I want to say, in this collection is one I've had for years and years. Um, is the Moosewood Restaurant Cookbook. So it's not specifically diabetic, but it's all like vegetarian. And that's often a good way to modify things to be lower starches, you know, do veggie stuff. Low carb cookbooks as well. There's not any of those in that collection. If you don't have it though, Dana Carpenter's um, low carb cookbooks are freaking fantastic. And they all, you know, nothing has sugar and that kind of thing because, you know, it's carb cutting. I have two of her books. I use some of the recipes regularly. I don't even have to look in the book anymore. Like, there's a recipe for, excuse me, a Thai cucumber salad. The whole family loves it. And you just use Splenda instead of the sugar in the dressing, but it's thin sliced cucumbers, jalapeno, onion, garlic, and uh, vinegar and rice wine vinegar, sorry, and a little salt and pepper. It's so, oh, and ginger. Sorry, can't forget the ginger because that's really a key component. Is that like ginger garlicky dressing with the jalapeno and onion? I make this salad regularly, and the whole family, well, except for one of them who has a veggie, a version that's like it's ARFID level. It's almost a fear reaction. So, but even my picky husband likes it. I take it to barbecues. It's nice to always be able to take stuff to something like a potluck or a barbecue that is diabetic friendly. Of course, I was in politics for a long time, and sometimes I was cooking for big groups for that. And a lot of times it's older folks, which, with type 2, it's later onset. So I'd always try to have something that people with alternate diets could have, whether it's like, okay, this is diabetic safe, this is a sugar-free dessert, or this is a vegetarian dish. When I, like, every other event has barbecue and more barbecue and more freaking barbecue. I love barbecue, but North Carolina's a little crazy with it. Let's salt that. I'm gonna go ahead and get some pepper in there too, so like it's time to hydrate with the vegetables. Bring it up with the flavor. I don't want to put the wine in too early. I don't have much fond there, but I'm trying to remember how I've done it in the past. I'll get this going a little more. And I'll cut up potatoes while we wait for that. So definitely freaking soup season. It's been so cold here. I took my son to work earlier. I almost said I was able to get out of my driveway. No, actually I wasn't. I'm gonna make these like bite size so that they fit in a friendly manner on a spoon. Um, my kind neighbors let me. I'm still in their driveway, but the roads are clear, much clearer than they were last week after that ice storm. Because this time it was really really fluffy snow, and they were able to plow a lot of it before melting started to happen today, and it hasn't frozen up yet. So the streets are really clear, but I still can't quite get up my driveway. Just fine. It'll be fine. The only reason I'm using this big a pot is because it's not a lot of meat. It's probably a pound and a half, not quite 2 pounds, it looks like. Um, and only my son Victor and I are going to be eating this. But I wanted to give room in the pot for getting some good color on the bison pieces. Oh, definitely have a fond on the bottom of this now. I'm gonna deglaze that with some wine. Box of wine, don't judge me. Um, I'm sure you're not. Um, I wanted to try this recently. I knew it would definitely be good enough for cooking, but it's also good enough for drinking. It's a Cabernet Sauvignon. It's kind of like, it's almost like I opened it and the bottle had been open a while, like it already breathed. It's a box called Terra Box. It looks a lot like the Boda box, but it's the Aldi brand. Okay, I'm going to cook that a little. To reduce it. I know I'm not doing this in the order. I don't think I want more potatoes than that. Yeah, not quite doing this in the order I should have. Whatever. It's fine. It's fine. I probably should have put the meat back in, tossed the meat and veg in the flour, cook up the flour, and then deglazed. Not the end of the world. What kind of herbs do we want to put in here? I love Aldi for just about everything. It was like my secret, for years. Like a lot of people don't realize how good it is, especially on a budget. Like I can afford to keep things in the house that, on a budget, there's no way I could go into any average grocery store and get goat cheese crumbles and blue cheese crumbles and artichoke hearts and like gourmet ingredients that a really low price, and their produce is, organic. And we don't have like a Whole Foods or a Trader Joe's around, but I I wouldn't be able to afford or want to shop for those prices if we did have one of those nearby for the products that are definitely as good quality as at Aldi. Yeah, there's always gonna be like one or two things, right, that isn't your favorite. I like to get chicken wings there. I think I'm gonna go with some marjoram and some thyme. Or do I want rosemary? I don't know where my homegrown thyme is. Oh, if anybody's watching me make that doll and I couldn't find my chili powder the other day, I totally had chili powder. I said a big one. So it was in the big cupboard instead of where I was looking when I was getting the garam masala out and stuff. Okay, I'm gonna open these. I'm not gonna put them in yet. I could probably get this cooked. Yep, it's on that. It's reduced enough I can add flour soon. I'm just gonna go ahead and add it in there. This is a pretty bowl I bought for Factual Foodie presentation. Boy, it sure worked when I made the beautiful that butternut squash soup the other day, which I froze some of today. I had a cup for breakfast, which is great. I mean, it's kind of like a little sweet, so a little sweet and hot. I'm all about that for breakfast. So I'm gonna put just about 2 tablespoons of flour in here and get that cooking. And I'm gonna put herbs in at the same time. Marjoram. As much as I love rosemary, I feel like might be a little much. A little bit of thyme. Smells really great in here. See, that's gonna soak some of that up, but we'll get it cooked before we add a bunch more liquid and our potatoes, and then we'll just be simmering it until it's done. Make sure got all the fond off the bottom. Looks like we did. Like I probably, for the amount, I could have used my cool spider cauldron thing. Oh, it smells really good. Oh my gosh, I forgot the mushrooms. Because they're over here in a colander. Let's get these suckers in here. I'm going to turn this down to give me a little time. Yeah, I'm just going to quarter these because they will shrink some. We don't need to do a small slice. This is going to give so much flavor. It's funny how smelling the wine cooking made me remember the mushrooms. If you're a fan of stuff like stroganoff like I am, I guess that makes sense of why. I'm going to move this off this burner just for a second while I get these chopped. Only because it takes a while to cool because of this being cast iron. So if you wanted to make this diabetic friendly, seriously, the only thing you'd need to do is you might want to omit the carrots, depending on how careful you want to be with the sugars. You could totally just not put potatoes in it, serve it with some cauliflower rice, or you could add something like cauliflower instead of potatoes in something like this. I might skip the wine in that case and just make it into basically more of a beef stew. It's a small amount of flour, but like I mentioned, you could use arrowroot for a no-carb hit. So you don't have to worry about something like cornstarch if you're thickening with that. Some of these are big, so I am going a little smaller. Let's move it back. Mushrooms and wine go together so well, though. I've just been craving mushrooms, and I felt like, okay, I could just do a beef stew with the bison, but I wanted to treat it a little special with the wine and mushrooms. I did not use my homemade bacon because I have very little left. Yeah, you could leave out the wine. If you left out the wine, I would put a shot of like Worcestershire sauce in, or aminos, or something like that and or actually a little balsamic vinegar, I think would be your friend in that application. Speaking of, I think I'm gonna add another element to treat my bison like it's special, because it is. I'm really looking forward to this. I'm gonna put a little tomato paste in when I put in my liquid. So here was a surprise deal. I was in Ingles, I think it was. Or was it Food Lion? I don't know. I was in the aisle grabbing some tomatoes to make chili because I'm not having enough of soups and stews right now. And this was like Palmy brand. I never heard of it. Double concentrated tomato paste. It was like $2 or under $2, which I normally don't keep this in the house. I just get, me a little jar and use it more sparingly, even though it's really a lovely, handy thing to have a tube of tomato paste to give a little richness to even like a chicken stock. That can make such a huge difference. I want more pepper, but that's a me thing. I think I'm about ready to add some water. I do have some beef better than bouillon here. I don't think it really needs it. This has a lot of flavor going on. But again, it's just another option, if you are doing things like skipping the wine. I almost never use just water, but I like to put vegetable broth in a lot of things. I happen to have some beef better than bouillon just from making beef on weck. When I visit my son in Raleigh, they have a Wegmans. Wegmans, if you've never heard of Wegmans, is an amazing grocery store. I splashed my burner. Sorry, it's making an ugly noise. That was founded in Rochester, New York. I'm originally from Buffalo, and so I miss my Wegmans, and I miss being from Buffalo, beef on weck. So when I go to Raleigh, and they're putting one in Charlotte, so I'll have one a little closer soon, but it's still like 40 minutes away. I pick up Kimmelweck rolls, and when I travel north to see my family, I bring Kimmelweck rolls home. And I did not have au jus. They weren't selling it at the deli like they do back home. So I needed to basically make au jus to just take thin sliced rare roast beef and just kind of dip it in. Hot beef broth long enough with a little squirt, about a tablespoon tomato paste, just to heat it up, right? And some people dip part of the roll in. I don't know if I'm describing beef on weck and no one cares, but you can always look it up. Buffalo's famous for it, and it is an addictive bit of nostalgic food for me. In go my potatoes. I'm not going to put in peas until the very end, like basically after it's done, because those are nice frozen peas and they will just, oh, my garlic trimming. Oh no, it's a piece of mushroom. Those I just want heated through at the end, and then that'll be ready to eat. I can turn this back up now that I've got my liquid in here. Bring it to a simmer. I feel like it's definitely going to need some more salt. And I'll decide on more herbs once I give that the flavors a little time to marry. And to get more flavor out of the meat itself, I really don't think it needs the bouillon or any salt. I kind of expected to need to season that a little more. So let's put that lid on and get that going. I'll put some of the stuff away. And then I'll talk about the factual foodie, I think. I don't know. I don't feel like I need to be secretive, right? Like, I don't think Megabytes is going to be spying on me or anything. And in the end, we're all just going to decide what we want to make and see how it goes. I didn't finish my coffee earlier, did I? Nope. Bummer. So we both have to, with the superb owl theme, just funny, because I do call the Super Bowl that, even though I do like sports. I don't know yet whether, I know it's February 8th, I'll be competing. I guess they're doing 2 semifinals that day, but I don't know what time. Like, there's an earlier slot and a later slot, but I don't even know if the later one is the same as our last competitions at 6 Eastern starting. But I only get an hour. I'll have to make something in a bowl. I mean, you can put anything in a bowl. I thought bibimbap would be great for this, but then I also thought, I mean, isn't that the first thing any of us, foodie nerd, people are going to think of, because those are kind of popular more recently than when I was growing up. I never heard of it. I thought of the protein bowls that I get at Publix sometimes, and doing something like that. Those are really good. I thought, I mean, you can put anything in a bowl. And my chili is pretty. And look at my soups. Like, they are pretty to me. But that is hard to do in an hour and get, like, convincing amount of flavor out of it. Although, this is going to have it. I'm pretty confident. So, I've asked in Discord for ideas. My friend, Mr. Cofford, said, like, steak and broccoli and mashed potatoes. So, I mean, just kind of is that a farmer's plate? I know some people call it, meat and potatoes. And you could put it in a bowl and, have it segmented and look kind of pretty. But, yeah, plating in a bowl being the challenge. I really think I want to respect, like, the way things are normally served rather than just kind of skirt. The craziest idea I've had so far was to do something like make cereal. I used to make my own granola, or make granola for my kids years ago, and I like to make crackers. If you don't have How to Cook Everything, or haven't seen Mark Bittman's Bible of a cookbook, it's got a thing in there for just making saltines that's really cool and super easy. And I feel like things like cornflakes, right? It's not corn. It's a cornmeal that's been shaped and cooked into flakes somehow by, giant machines now, but somebody had to have invented it. Or wheat puffs. Could I get wheat from like a friend of mine who grows it? Probably the wrong time of year. Or I could go ask the malt house and like puff wheat at home from scratch and sweeten it. Like make a bowl of cereal, but from scratch. Like, I kind of, it's insane, but I kind of love the idea if I can do that in 1 hour. Um, but I mean, for presentation, that's not really pretty. Um, I guess it depends on your point of view, right? Because like if I were able to do something like make homemade cornflakes or bran flakes, um, and then put fresh fruit in it, right? It might just be like exhibition enough to be competitive. Um, so that's my most thinking in the bowl but out of the box. Yeah, saltines are cheap if you're gonna. But it's neat to be able to do like, especially if something like right now where I can't. Well, now I can. I can get out of my neighbor's driveway where I'm parked, but for the last couple of days, driving anywhere was not an option. And I had all this cheese and ran out of crackers. I could make some saltines with just flour, water, and salt. Um, I'm going to be making cookies. There's 3 cookies left. My son made, because, weather, and we had stocked up knowing we had weather coming. He's made chocolate chip cookies, and there's only a couple left. I'm going to make cookies either tonight or tomorrow, probably tomorrow, and maybe I'll stream it because I have game tonight. I have to pick up my son at 8, and then I have gaming on Cyrenex's channel with Jess and Sonia. I think we're going to play Peak later. But I want to make cookies with I have dried cranberries. Like I have a lot. I have a lot of dried cranberries and a lot of dried cherries. And I'm not sure what I'm going to do with all of them. Yes, you can recommend a site. A site for what? Um, I mean, I don't know if this is the best place to recommend it. You probably can't post a link without a certain status, but yeah, cookie recipes, totally. Eat It Dad's has some great recipes, being he has his cookie club. Um, I might go there first. But anyway, the one I was looking the other day because I kind of want oatmeal cookies and I was looking for something a little different. So I thought I would love dried cranberries in oatmeal cookies. I normally just use dried cranberries to make scones. I have a really great scone recipe that my mother-in-law gave me. It's got like sour cream in the dough. It's amazing. But I, I put in cardamom in oatmeal cookies with some dried cranberries. Pardon me. And I haven't decided. Pardon me. Um, I haven't decided if I'm going to add white chips to that because I do have some white baking chips that might balance really well with the tartness of the cranberries and then that interesting almost floral element that cardamom's going to give. 50 classic cookie recipes that can't be beaten. Cool. Oh, Gourmet Magazine. You know, so I'm going to screenshot that. Grub of the Geek, I appreciate that. I'd love to see in the Discord. You can post the link there if you want. Let me grab, because this is just simmering away for a while. I should probably set a timer. this gourmet. I have a very big gourmet magazine cookbook. That is not in the ones I'm giving away because I won it in a recipe contest. Alexa, set a timer for 25 minutes. And it's got a, I'm old. It's got a CD in it, or a DVD, a 45-minute DVD with Ruth Reichel's favorite recipes and cooking techniques. It's a DVD. You know, I've never watched it. I should, none of my computers have drives right now. I should throw it in the Xbox before I unplug the old one. So I won this from Gourmet Magazine. I won a recipe contest with either QVC or Home Shopping Club. I can never remember which one. New York chocolate chip. I am unfamiliar with that. Is that like a Toll House variant? I invented my butternut coconut milk soup and won a bunch of stuff. They sent me this cookbook. They sent me this cool bag with their logo on it and a wine opener and a Wolfgang Puck cookbook because he was part of the sponsorship because I used his immersion blender to make the recipe. I won a whole bunch of stuff, and that was really great. I didn't win the overall, win a trip to go cook with Wolfgang Puck part. This just starts with hors d'oeuvres. It doesn't have a table of contents, so I guess I have to use the index to see where their cookies are. Because the second part of the contest was they put like our recipes online on their website. I think there were just 4 of us. And then it was online voting. So just have all your friends go and vote for you. And they gave it to the person that got the most votes. So it was a popularity contest at that point. But I was really, really happy about winning and getting to that level where I did, because that part was judged. That part, someone called me and said, oh my gosh, I want to tell you, we're going to be sending you this stuff. I need your address. They let me taste that soup and I loved it and it was so good. Like they made it in a test kitchen and they had a panel. And that, I'm much more interested in that than like a popularity contest. One thing I'm really glad that Factual Foodie has built in points coming from different places so that nobody can just bring a bunch of people and end up winning. Sorry, I'm looking here. New York chocolate chip is Oliver and Bakery. 4-ounce cookies. Oh, what a big cookie. Jeez Louise, I don't need to be eating any of that. This index is not my favorite. It looks like it's by ingredients. You can tell I've never used this. Chocolate, chip tiny, chunk with pecans. Is this under chocolate? Brown sugar ginger crisps. Wait a minute. I can probably... There's a bunch of recipes like that around 666, because apparently cookies are the devil. It's such a huge cookbook. Never dug in. Well, at this point, it wasn't like they had all the sponsorship stuff. They could have got him to sign it. Although I don't even know if the Wolfgang Puck book is signed. Okay. Black and white cookies, Anzac biscuits. Yeah, baking is not my primary thing. Oatmeal trail mix cookies. That feels like something that will work with what I'm planning to do later or tomorrow. Tiny chocolate chip cookies, chocolate chunk with pecans, dried apricots, and dried sour cherries. There you go. I have some cherries. Peanut butter cookies. Okay, cookies, bars, and confections. So it starts on page 660, and they couldn't be bothered to call it a chapter in the front of the book. Let's see. Oatlace cookies. It's interesting that you got that, and it said it came from a certain bakery. I didn't know that Gourmet Magazine has been giving people credit that develop the recipes, because they don't have to, because cookies recipes are not copyrightable. Cinnamon chocolate cigarettes. I feel like that's an old-fashioned recipe. That's bittersweet chocolate, unsweetened, finely chopped. Egg whites, flour. Huh. You let's see if you can see this. You use a pencil and you roll the dough up on it and bake them in those little rolls. Isn't there another? Cool. Well, I'm glad. For all recipes in that cookie book, you mean? Because there's no credit for anybody in this one. And I don't know if they do in the magazine or not. Did you ever have somebody get a recipe stolen? I have a friend who did. Had a recipe stolen from her blog. The only way she was able to do anything about it is the blatant lifting of her photo as well, which those are copyrightable. Like, they stole it so hard, and they put it in like some magazine. I don't remember what magazine it was. But like, really? Somebody got paid to just scrape the internet and steal recipes from a blog. I'm gonna taste this. I'm gonna decide if I want to leave the cover off to reduce. I don't think yet, but sounds like my husband's in a meeting if you hear people talking in the background. Ooh. Very good. Really need something. Maybe more tomato. The bison flavor is a little bit different than beef, and it's a little bit stronger. Not a lot, not what people would call gamey, although I don't find venison particularly gamey as long as it's been hunted well. Cool. My son, for his chocolate chip, he bakes a lot. He kind of stress bakes. Has taken to a recipe that's actually, it's not the one on the back of the chocolate chips. It's not the one on the back of the white chips. It's not on the back of it's the one on the back of the butterscotch chips that we get at Aldi. The proportions are just a little bit different than the ones that are in most of the chocolate chip recipes, the one he had online, the one I had in a cookbook, the one on the back of the package. He's got a favorite one. And he does most of his cookies using with that dough recipe. German spice cookies. I wonder, molasses, anise, clove, nutmeg. This one doesn't have the hot paprika in it. I got a prosperity cookie recipe that's a little bit spicy. Maybe I'll make some time. Lemon thins, Mexican tea cakes. Sesame honey lace cookies. Please? Yes. Flourless peanut butter cookies. I wish they put nutritional info in here. That's something I really, really miss about Spark People, is being able to plug a recipe in and get all the nutritional info to come out. I think I'm going to go ahead and subscribe to Cookbook app and move all my recipes that are in my digital file into that, because that does give you that information. Chinese spice cookies with cranberries. Chopped peanuts. I don't have any peanuts. I think I've got walnuts and pecans in the house. But yeah, like 5-spice would be really good too. I didn't even think of that, but I think I'm going to go with the cardamom for this first go of kind of making it up. Pecan sables. I'm assuming that's like Sandy's. Okay, so it's going into gingerbread snowflakes, icing, pignolis. These are all really fancy. Hey, cranberry pistachio biscotti. Let me see where this ribbon is. If I have anything there on purpose. Creamed mushrooms with chives, okra, tomatoes, ginger. No. I'm going to put that here because biscotti. My friend Lori gave me her biscotti recipes. Not this past Christmas, the one before when we had a gathering to make cookies. And I freaking lost it. I lost all of them. And then we had another get together to make cookies this year, to bake cookies for Christmas. And she couldn't find her copy. So I was like, oh, I'll send it to you when I get home. Nope. Sure can't. This is actually almost done. By the potatoes. So I'll be adjusting flavor soon. Tender, but definitely not cooked enough to be just eating. Like the potatoes are just barely cooked. None of the flavor has kind of gotten into them yet. So we definitely want to simmer that longer and probably add some salt because, yeah, that Bison flavor really came through plenty strong. I don't want, I'm glad I didn't put the beef bouillon in there. It can take some salt and maybe a shot of Worcestershire. Especially now that I have the good stuff in the house. Really sucked. My husband was laid off for like, I put only about a teaspoon and a half of that in there, by the way. He was laid off for a year and a half, and I'm really good at making do with what I can get, but I noticed the difference. Oh, you know what? This is missing a bay leaf. It's going to be edible, but it's going to be better the next time it's heated up. There we go. That set it off. That little extra. Sorry, I'm rambling. Yeah. I'll get some pistachios and have a go at biscotti soon. So yeah, so I'm all the way to biscotti, shortbread, and I'm not seeing just plain old chocolate chip cookies for this gigantic book. Now it's into bars, fudge. Seems like the little 50 pages you have, or sending me the link for, hopefully. I did take a screenshot so I can find it myself. It's going to have more stuff I'll actually make. That's why that book has been sitting on a shelf in my living room and not getting used a lot, like things like How to Cook Everything and Dana Carpenter's 500 Low Carb Recipes. Okay, I think we're good. I should probably eat some of this in front of people, right? Oh, because it is definitely edible. I don't want much, because just because I'm not hungry, honestly. I'm gonna get a bay leaf and throw it in there, and that way, when me and my son decide to eat some, which probably won't be until tomorrow, because we've already got a plan for tonight. We're having burgers. I just wanted to, I'm gonna throw like 2 in there. Yeah, we're having burgers for dinner. Although my husband doesn't eat ground meat, so he's having. Oh, you're making pizza?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, you said a pizza or something. I thought you would do something that wasn't something to feed the whole family some night, but it's fine. I got more of those good fingers, by the way.
Okay, cool.
So, all right. And let's see. I want to get a beat on the texture here. Okay. It's not done. Mm-hmm. Okay. The bison. And I should suspect that, right? It's a stew. This is why you stew this kind of thing to give it time for the protein in the meat to break down and get tender. So this is going to need to cook for probably another hour to get to where the meat is that soft, tender um, texture that you want from a beef stew or just a bison stew in this case. Um, it would probably take more like 2 hours if I had not added the wine, because that will help that break down a little bit more quickly than if it wasn't in there. So this is, I would say, yeah, give yourself the time to do it, or get it to the point I talked about with the pressure cooker. You could totally pressure cook it for probably 40 minutes and it would be done just like you would with a chicken stock. Or you could put it in the crock pot after you get everything just like all mixed together. Brown your meat, throw the vegetables and liquid in a crock pot for the day, like when you go to work, on low for like 8 hours or high for 5, something like that. And then you'll get that meat to the texture you want. But I'm not going to hang out here. Um, for another hour, hour and a half. Until it's all done. Really good though. I know the flavors are there, and I won't need to add anything other than maybe some people will. Something. I forgot what I was going to say. Let me look here. Cranberry biscotti classic. I was like, oh, from Dill's days. Cool. Yeah, I'm loving the grinding gears. Him and Kyle are so fun together. What a bromance, right? I think their Patreon is called like Support Our Bromance, right? Okay. Oh, Savour magazine, not gourmet. See, that was partly the problem. Okay, well, I'm gonna put the lid on and I'm gonna low and slow that, and then I'll store it, and I don't have to worry about what my son and I are eating tomorrow, um, and figure out what I'm gonna make next, because I've gone a little crazy with the soups here with this weather, all the ice and snow. Um, I have 3 kinds. I have a dal. I made another batch of the dal in the fridge right now. I have black bean soup in the fridge that I made on stream, and I've got that red curry butternut squash soup. So this will be like stew soup number 4 that I'll have some of in the fridge. But you know what? Cool. It's less work for like doing it during the day or um, at night. My midnight snacker son will heat that up instead of just being like, oh, ramen, ramen, ramen. Those kids will eat ramen every night, and I feel like much better about the things like controlling the fat and sodium in my homemade stuff than this. I recommend a soup from 1972 Gourmet Bag. You should join my Discord, um, and we can talk food in there. You can share pictures of food. Um, oh, and I also made hot and sour soup that I just didn't even stream, but I've had a little sniffle, and so is my son. So hot and sour is my go-to for that. It happened when we were snowed in, and I didn't have the tofu. Um, I have bamboo shoots, but I didn't have the tofu I like to put in it. But I basically just made a hot and sour egg drop because I always have sesame oil in the house, and I had some scallions I could throw on the top. Hey, Char. Oh, the black cat's going by. I guess it's time to sign off. Thank you so much for being here today. I appreciate you. Tonight I'll be at 9:30 Eastern, probably falling off of mountains with Variety Jess and Cyranex. And I don't know when I'm gonna cook on stream next. I'm still working on my notes for making my seasoning blends and talking about that on a stream because I'm running out of my breakfast sausage and my BAM and stuff that I keep in the cupboard. And like that's the only plan one I can think of until next Sunday. If you're not going to be watching the Sports Bowl, you can come hang out with the Superb Owl themed cooking competition. I'll try to stream together here. We'll see how that works now that Chef John Leung, Leung, is using Discord for audio and video, which I know from having guests on my shows for like a decade or so, um, works better than stream together. It just doesn't have its shit together yet. So hopefully I can stream it here, but if not, follow Chef John Leung and come support me on Sunday. Help me answer the trivia questions and rate my dish. I haven't decided what I'm making yet. I'm throwing some ideas around. It has to be something in a bowl. Right now, in case I'm going to use it, I've been oiling up. Like I know I talked to y'all at one of my first streams about oiling your cutting board. I have a beautiful acacia bowl I'm oiling up just in case I want to present in this. So, yeah. Thanks for being here. Good to see you again. And I'll see you around the internet, right? Bye.